Hello and welcome to the channel where we talk about all things Weishwarz and chill with friends. My name is Liam and today it's time to meet Meridius, Elder Dragon of Jihnra. Now if you are new to the channel here, please consider hitting that subscribe button, and if you enjoy what we do here, let me know by hitting that like button. As well as that, if you're excited for HOST WCG, what host will you be selecting? Let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, make sure you check out my announcement video on the channel. Link is down in the description, but let's jump straight in. So yeah, today I have got the opportunity to reveal the Elder Dragon of Jihnra, Meridius, and his deck. I'm really excited to open this. I've play tested it before. It's really fun. But let's go straight into the packaging and opening this deck. So here's the packaging. Here is the deck box it all comes with. It's very small, very considerate on packaging. But you can see on the back here, again, it's all about Meridius, it's all about dragons. It says character deck Meridius contains a pre-built 51 card deck sculpted around Meridius, Elder Dragon of Jihnra, and has everything you need to begin your journey into Host. Use large entities and powerful effects to hold sway over any threats your opponent puts out, and lay traps and disrupt their plans. Now there is a QR code in the back here that will take you to the Host website, host-wcg.co.uk, where you can find out more about Host, check out how to play, as well as to use the deck builder to take your deck to the next level. But let's get opening this up. I'm very excited to show you what's inside. Okay, so cracking this open, we have got our deck for the Elder Dragon of Jihnra Meridius. So we're going to crack this open and I'm going to show you the cards inside. Oh, look at that. Skillful. Okay, so first of all, you have got your host. First of all, what to say, the card quality on this is really nice. Good thickness of card. Very nice to hold. So obviously you've got your host, the Elder Dragon of Jihnra. We also have the Breath of Fire sorcery, which we have 4 copies of. We have the Breath of Ice Ambush as a 3 of. We have the Breath of Wind Ambush as a 2 of. We run Claire, Head Librarian, which is a 4 of. We got Dragon Treasure, which is a draw 3 and discard a dragon. So it's kind of like Allure of Darkness in Yu-Gi-Oh, but better, which is a 4 copies. We've got Dragonless Chick, another 3 copy, sorry, which allows you to basically get your dragons out and get them ready to hand. Then looking into our main dragons, we've got Dragoness of Constanti, where it's a 4 copy, very big dragon. When the other big dragon is the Dragoness of Fretia, again another big 2-drop here, another 4-drop. So it's slightly less to pay out than the Constanti. However, it's only 2 copies in the deck. So this is where, yes, you can buy one deck and it would be like absolutely fine, and you'd be able to play the deck as it comes out. But you can run up to 4 copies of a card, so it might be worth getting a second one to actually start basically looking at deck building and improving your ratios if you'd like to. We also run 3 copies of Edith of Castle Keep. Pretty basically like a bodyguard sort of thing, where it just stays there and it's just big, doesn't do a lot of attack, doesn't deal much damage back. It's pretty cool. We also run 4 copies of the Guiding Light form. Just another thing as well, I want to state the artwork of this is absolutely phenomenal. But here's Guiding Light, where basically you can it just gives you some extra resource generation, which is really cool, especially when you need resource. We run 4 copies of Mountain Peak, the main sorcery or lingering sorcery of the deck, to help you get your dragons out nice and easy. We also run 3 copies of Mysterious Egg to help you search for your dragon entities or the peak itself. We run 2 copies of Ophelia of Serenity, basically letting you destroy target entities and things like that. You've got Priestess of the Afterlife as a 4 of Demigod, where you can deal 1 damage to your host to deal 6 damage to an entity. So again, you deal damage to yourself to do a lot of damage to a target creature on the field. You also run, finally, 4 copies of Zin, Master of Pain, another entity here where it's on attack, deal another 2 damage to a target. So it's just a one damage for free health, and again it just does a lot of damage in a single attack, where you can actually split that damage, which is quite cool. And that is the deck. So let's actually talk through how this deck works and the way to play this. So first of all, focusing mainly on the dragon cards themselves, this card is so important. It's a 0 cost, and at the start of your turn you put a calling counter on this sorcery, and then you may remove X calling counters to summon a dragon entity of cost X from your deck. So you want this card out turn 1. If you don't see this in your turn 1 hand, you can mulligan, try and find it. Or you can basically try and find Mysterious Egg, which if you haven't got one of these in your hand, you can use Mysterious Egg to also get the peek to your hand. It's so vital to see this card in your starting hand. If I was to build this deck with, say, 2 copies of this, I'd be running Mysterious Egg as a 4 of, basically run the equivalent of 8 Mountains Peak to ensure that you see it in your starting hand. That's so important. Once you've got Mountainous Peak going on, you then want to start getting your Dragoness Chick. Again, a totally free entity. Doesn't do any damage, but it does get in the way of your opponent doing damage to you, because if you have got entities on the field, your opponent must clear entities before they can attack your host directly. So having this is really good. Again, I'd probably run this as a 4 of as well. And again, what I would do is go, okay, fantastic. If I play Dragoness Chick and go, okay, fantastic, I'm going to get another dragon entity, whether it be Fretia or whether it be Constanti, and basically make sure I've got at least a dragon in hand to be able to hard play dragons later on, as well as basically being able to fuel your dragon's treasure. So I'll just probably put up this 4 of. Your dragons, so you've got 2 different dragons. You've got Constanti and you've got Fretia. Now I'm very excited to be able to say that there will be expansion sets coming for this, whereby you can again buy a dragon's expansion deck, for example, and boost your dragon deck, which be very exciting. So at the moment you've only got 2 dragons, so it'd be really cool to see what other dragons we can get and how we could fuel this deck to be pretty much pure dragon. Is where I see this deck going down the line. Again, I'd buy another copy of the deck and I'd run this as a 4 of, and I'd run this as a 4 of for the meantime, and then I'd see what dragons come out in the future. But again, these are very powerful cards. This one, the Constanti, is a 5-drop. The Fretia is a 4-drop. Where when this is created, you can destroy all face-down cards, so you destroy all of your opponent's ambushes, which is really cool. Then this one, when this comes into play, you destroy 2 entities. It has to be 2. So if your opponent's only got 1 entity, you have to choose that card and this. If you can't destroy 2, you don't destroy any. And you cannot choose to not destroy 2, you must destroy 2. So when you play this card, it's very important you time it correctly. But when you destroy 2, you also get a draw a card. So this card is really strong. Both dragons are 5/5s, both really big bodies, and they do a fantastic job at controlling the field. Moving on to the dragon ambushes, you've got Breath of Wind, basically a bounce back when an entity attacks. You may activate it for 1 cost to return that entity back to its hand. Pretty cool. And also you've got Breath of Ice, where when they start a phase, entities your opponent controls lose all effects. Now, I believe in the rules, and Jamie will correct me if I'm wrong, this only affects entities on the field whilst this card is activated. So for example, if you activate it during the main phase and they've got 2 entities on the field, it would affect those 2 entities. But any entities that come out afterwards are not affected by Breath of Ice. Think of it as the Breath of Ice has happened, everything that's on the field or that's been controlled by your opponent gets hit by the Breath of Ice. Anything that comes out afterwards wasn't there when the Breath of Ice happened, so they aren't hit by it. Best way of thinking about it. But Breath of Ice is a very strong card. I would run this as a 4 of, honestly. This card is really good. It is a 2 cost, but it is a really strong card. So strong recommendation on Breath of Ice there for your ambush. And Breath of Fire as well, very good 1-drop just sorcery to deal 4 damage to an entity. Again, it deals with big bodies that your opponent might control, as well as problem bodyguards and things like that. Really cool card. As a 4 of, yeah, I agree with that. It's all about controlling your opponent's board, and this card does that very well. And finally, Dragon Treasure, where you can just draw a free card and then discard a dragon entity or your entire hand. So If you don't have a dragon, you can try your luck and see if you find a dragon. Or if you use the chick to get an extra dragon to your hand and then go, okay, fantastic, I've got a dragon in my hand that I don't need to actually play, I'm going to discard it just to plus my hand by 3. It's pretty relevant, pretty strong, and 4 copies of this I think is a must-have. It's a very, very fantastic way of increasing your hand size, until getting your hand size back up to, you know, after playing things. It's just a very, very good gain of card resource, especially in a deck that runs dragons. And that's why if I was able to buy more decks, I would definitely run more dragons, because it's, and it's a shame it's dragon entity. If it's a dragon card, you can discard the ambush or sorceries, but you cannot, it has to be a dragon entity, which is why I would buy a second deck and make sure I'm running at least 4 of this, 4 of this. Basically I'm running 12 dragons, which will make the consistency of Dragon Treasure all that better. Now, actually talking about Meridius himself, so hosts do have their own abilities, and Meridius' effect is use an action point and you may return a dragon sorcery or ambush from your drop zone to your hand. So again, you can get your dragon treasures back, you can get your Breath of Fires, your Mysterious Egg, you can get your Breath of Fire and Breath of Ice and Breath of Wind, and you can utilize those back for the cost of 1 action point, which is pretty strong. And it means that you might actually get away with running less of the ambushes. I think the sorcery as a 4-of, I think it's absolutely fine, but I think you get away with running the Breath of Ice. I think the Breath of Ice should be a 4-of, but I think you do get away with the Breath of Wind as a 2-of, purely because of Meridius's effect. So yeah, really, really cool, and really good fun. And then the other cards as well, just mainly support cards. They fill out the deck as a start deck, but you've got some fantastic cards here. Guiding Light's a really cool card to help you gain resource early on, and basically start to pull resource. This is another fantastic way, Claire, of basically filtering your hand. You've got, there's again Zin, which is a fantastic way of splitting damage if you need to. You've got the Priestess of the Afterlife, again to basically deal big damage to an opponent's entity, at the sake of doing damage to yourself. And again, Ophelia, again, a bit of damage control, whilst also being a free 1. Now, the thing to notice with this is that you will notice that Meridius, his attribute, I guess is the right word, is emotion. The attributes required for this is your neutral, which is your middle one here, but also fortification. So that would mean that in order to play this, you have to, when you gain resource, you either pay 1 to gain a neutral resource, which can be used for anything that is either neutral or for something that shares the same attribute as your host, or you can pay 2 action points to gain any resource, which would give you access to Ophelia. So personally, when I tweak this deck around, I would drop Ophelia. I wouldn't use this personally, but it is still a good card, maybe even as a 1-off. Just if you need to just have a 4/4 body that sits out there and goes, fantastic, I'm going to use an extra point, just pop a body. It's a pretty solid card. And you'll notice that obviously all the other cards that come with this are demigods to go with the dragons or some form of supporting human. But again, it's all about, this deck is all about power, all about control, and all about big hits and basically forcing your opponent into submission. But that's it for this opening. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you're excited for Host. I know I am, and I look forward to seeing how this game progresses. But that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you are excited for Host WCG, let me know by hitting that like button, and again, comment below which of the 3 starting hosts are you looking to get. Let me know in the comments below. And again, go to the Host website where you can, once the host is released, you can buy your start decks from there at a very reasonable price. So again, thank you, Jamie, for creating Host. Thank you for choosing White and Chill to be the official content creator of Host, I guess. I look forward to seeing what goes on, mate. And yeah, I'm really, really excited for this game. So if you haven't checked it out, please make sure you do. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!